They never planned to love you. They tried to resist it. They tried to hide it. Forget it. But love written by God can't be undone. Age couldn't stop it. Time couldn't break it. And now, God says it's time you know the truth. Sometimes love doesn't arrive when the world expects it. It doesn't check your age, your background, your rules, or your plans. It walks in like a divine storm, quiet, unexpected, powerful. And somewhere, someone right now is thinking about you. Not as a fleeting thought but as a prayer. They never imagined they would fall for you. They never expected their heart to be drawn to someone older or younger. But something about you, your energy, your silence, your soul, made them feel home. God saw this before either of you did. This isn't an accident. It's a soul contract written long before you were born. They met you at a strange time, maybe when you were busy building your life or quietly healing your heart. They looked into your eyes and for the first time in a long time they felt peace. You weren't like others. You didn't chase or impress, you simply were. Your calmness spoke louder than words, your wisdom made them feel safe, your maturity wrapped around their restless soul like a blanket in winter. But deep down they questioned it. How can I feel this way? They're older. Or, they're younger, this can't be right. Yet no matter how much they tried to deny it, their soul kept whispering your name. God doesn't build love on logic. He builds it on purpose. Sometimes two souls meet not because they're the same age but because they're the same frequency. You might be years apart in time but spiritually you are side by side. They came into your life not to disturb your peace but to remind you what love feels like again, to remind you that your heart can still bloom even after storms. This is not about numbers. It is about connection, about a bond even silence can understand. Every time they tried to walk away something inside them pulled them back. Every time they told themselves it was impossible, their heart whispered, but it feels real. They fought this feeling silently. Late at night they'd lie awake thinking of you, asking God, why them? Why now? And God answered, because you both have lessons to teach each other. You awakened something in them, a softness they thought was gone, a light they thought was lost. In return they awakened your courage to love again even after pain. They saw through your silence and loved you anyway. Age is only the body's time, but souls don't age. When two souls recognize each other they don't ask, "How old are you?" They ask, "Where have you been?" They don't see wrinkles or youth, they see energy. They feel truth. This person didn't fall in love with your appearance but with your essence, the way you make the world feel safe, the way you listen with your soul, the way you bring meaning to every small moment. They see beyond what others see, and that's what scares them. Because love like this doesn't fade easily. There were moments when they tried to end it. They told themselves, this is wrong. They deserve someone their age. They deleted messages, ignored the urge to reach out, tried to focus on other things. But every time they did, a song played that reminded them of you, a quote appeared, a dream showed your face smiling, patient, forgiving. That's not coincidence, that's divine intervention. God doesn't let souls drift apart when their connection has purpose. He'll use signs, dreams, even silence to guide one heart back to another. Maybe the world wouldn't approve. Maybe society would laugh. But God sees what others cannot. He doesn't look at age, He looks at alignment, how your energies blend, how one gives strength while the other brings innocence. One has walked through storms, the other still dances in the rain, together you balance each other. You were sent to them to heal their faith in love. They were sent to remind you your heart still deserves to feel alive. Do you know how many nights they prayed for you? How many times they whispered your name before sleeping? They never told you, but God heard them. If this connection is real, they prayed, show me a sign. And God did, through dreams, feathers, numbers, songs. Each one whispered, you're not imagining this, this is divine. Love doesn't follow calendars, it follows destiny. Sometimes God connects a 20-year-old heart with a 40-year-old soul because one needs wisdom and the other hope. Sometimes He lets two lives collide so both can remember unconditional love. You might think it's impossible, but God says, what I join, let no man separate. He doesn't make mistakes, every bond has meaning. No matter how much time passes, they can't forget you. They try to distract themselves, meet others, smile, pretend, but deep inside you're still there, like a sacred memory etched in their soul. It's not obsession, it's recognition. Their soul recognizes you as something rare. Even across distance your energy finds them, because love written by God doesn't end in goodbye. This connection goes beyond the physical. Your souls met long before your bodies did. In another life you promised to meet again, and now you are fulfilling that promise. That's why it feels so deep, why it hurts even without words. Because it is real. God says, my child, this love was sent to awaken you. Do not be afraid of how it looks or ashamed of how it feels. I am the author of your story. They might not be near you now, but their hearts still hold space for you. Every time they see your name the world pauses. They haven't forgotten, they're just learning how to love you from afar, waiting until divine timing is right. You both feel each other even in sleep. When you miss them suddenly it's because they were thinking of you. You are connected through light, invisible but undeniable. God wants you to stop doubting this connection. He says, I brought them into your life to show you that love doesn't obey age, it obeys truth. This person came for divine alignment, not for mistake but for awakening. You might not know what's next, but God does. He says, trust me. If it's meant to last, I'll bring it back stronger. Sometimes love needs space to grow, sometimes souls need time apart to heal so they can reunite higher. Don't lose hope. This is not the end, it's preparation. And if you're hearing this now, it's your sign that someone truly loves you, that God is working in silence, that your connection is sacred no matter what the world says. Trust divine timing. Trust that love beyond age is love beyond limits. Then came the breaking point. They pulled away, not because they stopped caring but because fear shouted louder than faith. They looked at opinions and expectations and their heart grew heavy. They convinced themselves forgetting you would be easier, but real love doesn't fade, it hides, waiting for courage to return. When God separates two souls who love each other, it's not punishment, it's preparation. He wants both hearts to heal what was wounded before they met. So when distance came, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. God whispered, "You must rise higher before this can bloom." The silence became a teacher. You learned how to miss someone without losing yourself. They felt your energy like a whisper in their heart. Every song, every dream still carried your essence. They began to realize it wasn't the world's opinion that mattered, it was the truth their heart knew. You became mirrors for each other's healing. Both of you had to learn to let go, not of love but of attachment. God purified this bond so only the pure could remain. Signs started appearing again, numbers, butterflies, dreams, each saying, "This story isn't over." Because when one prays the other feels it, when one cries the other's soul trembles. You changed. You started healing, loving yourself the way you once loved them. Peace replaced anxiety, faith replaced fear. From afar they felt it too, they saw you growing and realized what they'd lost. While you healed, they transformed. God's voice reached them, you loved them for a reason. Ignore this love and you'll live wondering what could have been. They finally understood, this was destiny. When God plans reunion, He softens hearts and aligns paths. They grow restless, thinking of you every morning. That's divine discomfort, the pull that can't be ignored. When two souls are ready, He doesn't make them chase, He makes them collide. You meet again unexpectedly. Time stands still. No words are needed, the energy says everything. What was broken starts to mend. Conversations return, real, gentle, open. They tell you how much they missed you, how they prayed for another chance. You listen in peace, you have changed too. You are no longer waiting to be loved, you are love. No chasing, no proving, just being. God smiles when two healed souls find each other again. Now love is based on understanding. You build something sacred, free from validation. One carries wisdom, the other carries fire, together you balance heaven and earth. This love was about rebirth. Because of them you became softer, because of you they became stronger. Both of you evolved, that was God's real intention, to make you whole. Now when you talk there's calm, gratitude, quiet love. Even if distance remains, it doesn't hurt because you understand, you don't need to possess love to honor it. Sometimes the greatest love stories are silent and infinite. God says, this love was never about breaking rules but about breaking limits. You were brought together to heal each other, to remind each other that real love doesn't die. So close your eyes. Feel their energy. You'll meet again when both hearts are ready. Until then, walk in faith and remember, love beyond age is proof that heaven still writes human stories. There comes a time when the storm ends, not with thunder but with peace. The chaos has settled, you're ready to receive love. God waited for this, for both of you to know that love is about presence, not possession. They awaken too. They no longer question why they loved you, they understand it was about healing. You were the reminder of what love could be when guided by purity. Now they whisper your name in gratitude. When both hearts are ready, God aligns everything, schedules, timing, energy. Memories return, signs appear, it's time. You feel the quiet knowing before you meet again. It happens gently, almost ordinary. You see them, time slows. No apologies, no explanations, souls already forgave. They whisper, I never stopped believing. You smile, because neither did you. That night you talk under a quiet sky, not about the past but about truth. You share how God shaped you both through pain and prayer. There are no tears, only peace, because you know this is divine appointment. The world may not understand, but you no longer need to explain. When something is blessed by heaven, it doesn't need approval. They love you deeply now, not as fantasy but as truth. You love them for who they've become. Love that mirrors the way God loves, unconditionally. You realize your meeting wasn't just for love but for light. Your story inspires others to believe again. That was the higher purpose. Now your love becomes mission, praying together, healing others, building something sacred. Two souls united in purpose, that's divine partnership. God whispers, my children, you passed the test. You chose healing over bitterness, faith over doubt. Now I return what you lost, not as it was, but as it's meant to be. He blesses your bond with peace and protection. Years pass but the connection never fades. When one prays, the other's soul feels it. Your bond was never about time but eternity. It evolves into legacy. If you're hearing this, it's your sign. You're not foolish for loving despite age or distance. God places people to wake your heart and strengthen your faith. They were your divine mirror. You changed each other for the better. God says, I am proud of you. You learned to love without fear and to trust my timing. Your story is written in heaven. You were chosen to experience a love that reflects my heart. Never doubt it, for it was me who placed that love inside both your souls. Love does not measure years, it measures souls. When two souls recognize each other, no force on earth can separate them. Their love will travel through lifetimes, always finding each other again. Some connections are not bound to one story, they are the story. Close your eyes. Feel that warmth in your chest, that's them, still reaching for you across time and space. Smile, because you are loved, you are chosen, and this was always part of God's divine plan. This person fell in love with you, even with the age difference, because God wrote your hearts in the same sentence.